بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. So, actually, I was planning to start fragments today, but I will cover one last thing about status, and then we can start fragments, maybe even today, if there is not a long discussion on status. So what we are going to do in the first part today is go over like why knowing the status is important. Like we know now how to tell the status, gender, number, and type, all the 4 properties of an ism. But what's the use of knowing them? Especially the first one, status. What's the benefit of knowing the status? So why we need to know the status and why it is important? Please mute yourself and unmute only when I ask you to, or if you want to talk to me. Otherwise, please remain muted. Keep your mic muted. Okay. So I was saying why knowing the status is important. Yesterday, I touched on it, and this is what I said yesterday, that knowing the status helps determine the role of an ism in a sentence, meaning an ayah of Qur'an, because we will be learning Qur'an. So if you know the status of an ism, it helps you determine what is the role of that ism in that sentence, okay? And how you will do that? If the ism status is rafa, okay? If the ism is rafa, in rafa status, then it will be the doer of the action. The ism with rafa status is the doer of the action. And the ism with nasab status is the receiver of the action. I won't talk about jar status today, just rafa and nasab. We will leave that for some other time. So again, if the status of the ism in the sentence is rafa, then it is the doer of the action. And if the status of the ism in this sentence is nasab, then it is the receiver of the action. Okay, just remember this now. There are just 2 lines. If it is rafa, then it is doer of the action. And if it is nasab, then it is the receiver of the action. Just remember that. And I have an example in front of you. In Arabic, it is daraba Ibrahimu hamidan. So this is a sentence, and we are going to see what benefit we get by knowing status. Okay. So before I proceed any further, I would ask a couple of questions. Saad Iqbal, he's one of our youngest in our class.
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So if he answers this question correctly, everybody should know. Ibrahimu. Ibrahim is an ism. So Saad, can you tell me what is the status of Ibrahimu?
Ibrahimu is a status. The status?
Rafa nasab or jar?
It is rafa because it is the doer of the action.
No. Don't go there. We are not talking about that yet. Just tell me the status.
Oh, rafa. Rafa.
So Ibrahim is rafa. Why it is rafa? Because
it ends with a pesh.
Ends with the ending haraka is a dhamma or a pesh. Thank you, Saad.
Shabazbhai, sorry, I have a question. What is the meaning of the status? What is rafa? What is nasab? What is jar? What does it mean? Is it haruf with jar like the one we see, or is it something else?
Let's talk about this later, inshallah. Huh? Just remember your question, and inshallah we'll talk about that later.
Ji, bhaiya,
Yeah,
no
thank
problem.
you. Thank you for your question. So Ibrahimu is Rafa. We already established that. Okay, let's go to Taimiyah. Taimiyah is another one of the youngest in this class. Taimiyah, you are with me?
Yes, assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam. So Taimiyah, can you tell me what is the status of Hamidan?
Hamidan, the status is
Rafa, Nasab or Jar?
nasab.
It is Nasab. Very good. So again, Taimiyah, what is the status of Ibrahim?
Rafa,
And Hamidan?
nasab.
Okay. So if the status is Rafa, what is the role of that ism in the sentence? Can you tell me from the two sentences there up?
The ism with Rafa status is the doer of the action.
All right. So Ibrahim would be what? Doer of the action?
The doer, yeah.
How about Hamidan? What is its role here?
The receiver.
It's the receiver of the action. And action is daraba. Action is daraba. That is fail. That is the verb. Okay. So now I'm going to give you, Taimiyah, stay with me, huh?
Okay.
I'm giving you two options, two possible meanings of this sentence. You're going to tell me, is number one correct or number two correct? Read them, take your time. Don't get help from anyone, okay?
Number one.
Why number one?
Because it's like because Ibrahim is the doer of the action and Hamidan is the receiver of the action.
Right. So Ibrahim hit Hamid. That's correct. Thank you, Taimiyah. So Taimiyah was able to translate this sentence correctly only because she knew how to recognize the status. Otherwise, she will not know if Ibrahim hit Hamid or Hamid hit Ibrahim, because the order doesn't matter. Ibrahim could come after. It could be Daraba Hamidan Ibrahimu. It is not because of the order. It is because of the status. So that is why it is important to know the status. If you don't know the status, then you will not understand. You will be guessing. You will be guessing. You will not be sure what it really means. Okay.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
My question is that what is jar also a receiver of the action?
We'll talk about jar, inshallah, maybe later today or tomorrow, inshallah. Okay. Yeah. It is the nasab which is receiver of the action. Okay. Not jar.
Okay, but can jar be also the receiver of the action?
Could it be? Most likely not. In most cases, it is not. It will be the nasab. Nasab is the indication that it is the receiver of the action. Okay. Yeah. We don't call it maful. We call it like jar majroor. Inshallah, we'll talk about that too, Anusha. So you have to be patient about jar.
Okay.
Okay. So this is one example. I'm going to use another example now. I have shown you now another sentence. Nasara Muslimina Kafiruna. All right. So Nasara is the action. This is fail. So Muslimina. So Hiba, can you help me identify the status of Muslimina, please?
Okay, Muslimina. Muslimina is what's it called again?
Is it Rafa,
Rafa?
Nasab, or Jar? Try again.
Nasab or Jar. It's Nasab or Jar.
Nasab or Jar. It is either Nasab or
Jar.
Jar. Jar. Very good. Thank you, Hiba. Ayan, how about Kafiruna?
Kafiruna. This is Rafa.
Rafa. All right. So Muslimina is Nasab or Jar, but for this sentence it cannot be Jar. Why it cannot be Jar? We leave it for some other time. Inshallah, we will talk about that. So it is Nasab. Okay, it cannot be Jar. Just trust me for now. So Muslimina is in Nasab status and Kafiruna is in Rafa status, as Ayan told us. All right. Now we need to translate it using the information given up here. That Rafa is the doer of the action and Nasab is the receiver of the action. All right. So Zainab is gonna tell me, inshallah, which one of the two is correct, number 1 or number 2.
Number 2
It
is,
just read the correct answer.
can you hear me? Number 2.
Can you read the correct answer? Yeah, disbelievers helped Muslims. So everybody agrees with her, or is there's somebody who doesn't?
Yes, I agree.
Daniel, you agree?
I agree
Yes.
too.
Okay. Now, Daniel, can you stay with me? Daniel?
Yes.
I want to change this sentence. Nasara Muslimina Kafiruna. I want to say Muslims help to disbelievers. How you will change the sentence to mean number 1?
We will change Muslimina to Muslimuna and Kafiruna to Kafirina.
Say it. The whole sentence.
Nasara Muslimuna Kafirina.
Very good. Very good. So you changed Muslimina to Rafa and Kafiruna to Nasab to make it the receiver of the action. Right? Good job. Very nice. Okay. One last thing we do before we move on, inshallah. Musab Iqbal. Walaikum salam. So we go back to the first example. The first example means Ibrahim hit Hamid. The first number 1 was correct. I want to say Hamid hit Ibrahim.
You have to switch Ibrahim will make it Nasab and Hamidan Marfu. So Daraba Ibrahim Hamidun.
Very good job. Good job, Musab. So Daraba Ibrahima Hamidun. And you know why Ibrahimu is not heavy? Why it is light? Do you know, Musab?
I think it's Mudaf ilayhi.
Oh, no. This is non-flexible. Remember partly flexible.
Because
It is partly flexible, as we discussed yesterday. It is a non-Arab name, right?
yes.
Yeah. So we have to remember that too. Fully flexible. Hamidan is fully flexible. But Ibrahim is partly flexible. That is why it is always light. It doesn't take tanween. All right, doesn't take double haraka. So that's all I wanted to say about status, right? The question from another brother was, what does Rafa mean? What does Nasab mean? What does Jar mean? No, whatever they mean, we can talk about that. This is just a grammar question, like a vocabulary question. But more important is, what if the status is Rafa? What does it really mean in the context of the sentence? So now we know why we wanted to learn about status. Because if we don't learn how to identify the status, we will be guessing, we will be making errors, we will not be able to understand Arabic properly. So I hope now it is clear why we are learning about status. Is it clear or not? Or still it is not clear? Anybody who is not clear on the importance of learning status? So everybody knows now, right? Good. So there was a purpose why we were learning this, right? And actually, now when you know the 4 properties of an ism, this is the foundation now. When you know the 4 properties of ism very well, you make a good foundation. And on this foundation, inshallah, we are going to construct a beautiful building, a good, firm building. Because if the foundation is weak, the building cannot be strong. And knowing the 4 properties of ism are the first thing you do when you build a building. This is your foundation. And if you are weak in this foundation, you will struggle the whole way. Trust me, you will struggle the whole way. You have to make your foundation firm. Be very comfortable with status, gender, number, and type. You have to be comfortable with that. If you are not comfortable, you will remain uncomfortable throughout the course. So spend some time on it. There are videos available. You can rewatch them again and again. If you are not comfortable, you can ask questions in the class, but make sure you are good with these 4 properties of ism and you are comfortable with them. This is the time to do it. If you don't do it now, later on, it will become harder and harder to do it because we will be moving on to other topics. Okay. So these are the last few words on the 4 properties of ism. And as I said, I was going to talk about fragment today. So I still have about 7 minutes of the class. So I will start talk about fragments. Fragment, what is a fragment, first of all?
It's just a part of a sentence.
Yes, it's part of a sentence. So it's not a complete sentence, it's less than a sentence. Okay. And for this course, we will say, you could look in the dictionary and you may find another definition of what fragment means. But for this course, I'm just talking about this course. For this course, this is how we will define a fragment. A fragment is more than a word, but less than a sentence. All right. The example would be, for example, this is a sentence here. Messenger of Allah spoke the truth. This is a complete sentence. Now I can take a segment away from it. Messenger of Allah is part of the sentence. So it is less than a sentence, but more than a word. It has 3 words in it. So if I remove it from the sentence, now I will call this a fragment. For this course, we are going to call this a fragment. So it is more than a word, less than a sentence. Another example. This book is written by a good Muslim. So this is a complete sentence in English language. Now I'm going to remove 2 fragments from it. So this book is a fragment. It is more than a word. It is made up of 2 words. And it is less than a sentence. Similarly, good Muslim would be a fragment. It is more than a word, less than a sentence. So both of them, I will separate them from the sentence. I will call them fragments. They both are a fragment right now. So it's just simple thing. What is a fragment? Now you should all know what is a fragment. Okay. So there are different types of fragment in Arabic language. Okay. There are different types of fragment in Arabic language. We will learn 4 of them, inshallah. 4 fragments. And the first one is called mudaf ilay. Okay, this is the name of the fragment in Arabic language. Now, what does mudaf mean? What does mudaf ilay means? You know, we could talk about that, but it is not necessary at this time. You just memorize the name of this fragment. Just memorize it without worrying about the meaning of it. It does have a meaning, and inshallah, one day you will know the meaning. But we are not there yet. If I start talking about the meaning, it will make things complex. You will be confused. I will be confused. Everybody will be confused. Okay? We don't want to do that. Just memorize this name, mudaf ilay. This is the name of the fragment. Now, look at these fragments on the left side now. Messenger of Allah, house of Allah, Imam of the masjid, house of the Muslims, saying of the messenger. Is there a common theme here? Anybody who wants to say something?
All the sentences have off.
All of them have a off, huh?
And
All of them have off. Anything else?
and all the off are red.
Yeah, all the off are red. Yeah, that's true. Because I made them red. So, because I wanted to highlight it, right? So all of them, there is a word before off and there is a word after off. And you see, there is a belonging relationship between the 2 words, before off and after off. It's a belonging relationship. Okay. So this is a common theme. Like there is a word before off and that there is a word after off, and those 2 words have a belonging relationship. Messenger of Allah means a messenger which belongs to Allah. It is Allah's messenger. A house of Allah means a house which belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam of the masjid. So it's kind of a belonging. The Imam belongs to the masjid. House belongs to the Muslims. Saying, because it is the saying of the Prophet, so it's just this saying belongs to the messenger. So these kinds of fragments, and I'm separating one of them. These kinds of fragments, where there is an off in the middle, and there is a word before and after, and they have a belonging relationship, that is called mudaf ilay. So messenger of Allah is mudaf ilay. The word before messenger, the word before off. The word before off is called mudaf. So over here, the word messenger is mudaf. Again, don't worry about what does mudaf mean. It's a difficult word. Just memorize it. Okay? So word before off, which is messenger here, is mudaf. And the word after off, which is Allah here, the lafzul jalala, is called mudaf ilay. Okay? So the word before off is called mudaf, and the word after off is called mudaf ilay. And together the whole fragment is called mudaf ilay. The messenger of Allah, the whole fragment is called mudaf ilay. So this is the definition now. What is mudaf ilay? It is a combination of two nouns. You see, messenger is a noun. Allah is a noun. Of is not a noun. Okay. So it's a combination of two nouns which usually have a belonging relationship with each other. So messenger and Allah have a belonging relationship with each other. Okay. So that is called mudaf ilay. Now I can move on and spend some more time on it. But I think it's 11 o'clock already. And if I started, then I will be spending like another 5-10 minutes. So we will be way over class time. So I will stop here instead of continue to teach and let you ask any question you have so far on mudaf ilay. Otherwise, we are done.
Office.
All right. So I let Brother Abdul Khalik conclude the class today.